Okay, so why does a thing called love remind me of Iraq? So the thing you have to understand is, especially early in the war in 2003, we pirated the shit out of everything, right?
Yeah.
So um, we had this place once they built our fob, right?
Mhm.
We would let the locals come in and set up little shops, right? Like there was like a barber shop and like a little store where you could buy like, Arabic cigarettes, right? For like dirt cheap and like
Mm.
knockoff Marbs for $7 a carton, right? And there was a little coffee shop that this dude ran, right? And he had this big old TV in there, and it was hooked to Eurosat. Well, just for the sake of like calmness and no politics, he had these Eurosat music video channels that would just play inside this little Iraqi coffee shop on our fob. Okay. So
Mhm.
me and my buddies would sit in there at nighttime because we were bored out of our minds, and we would listen to music videos. And the I Believe in a Thing Called Love by the Darkness was one of those ones that would play like every 90 minutes. And do you remember the music video for that song
Yeah.
with
Oh,
all
I
like
love
the
it. Yeah.
Muppet monsters and all the crap in it, right? And so that is the song that's why my brain immediately goes to that song, right? Like takes me back there. I've got about like half a dozen songs that are like
Mm.
fully embedded in my brain from that first year of the war, right? Just they're just and they it's like sense memory, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so every time I hear I believe in a thing called love, right? Like my brain, I'm immediately sitting back in that little coffee shop drinking like Turkish, like way too strong a coffee at 1 in the morning, right? Watching music videos, which were a combo of like American and European stuff, right? And
Yeah.
EDM never died in Europe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
EDM is still like it was going strong, right? Like it died in America, but it did not die in in Europe. So again, we would get Eurosat channels, right? And that was where we got television while we were over there, right?
Mm.
And so we begged, borrowed, stole, had pirated like signals inside of all like the little like cafes and stuff that we would use over there, you know. And it was, like I said, it was this little building that we had set up for them to come in and build like a little shop in the middle of Baghdad. This is in southern Baghdad, right off Route Irish, and that was just where we lived, man. That was the thing, you know.
Wow. That is a very interesting story. If you're just joining us, I always like to we do like a little pre-show where we talk about our topics. I always like to play a little song that I like. I was playing I Believe in a Thing Called Love by the Darkness, and literally I played it and Alex's first response out of his mouth, this reminds me of Iraq. And I was like, "What?" I was like, "What?"
Yep,
Dude, there you go.
yep. And so yeah, like I said, there's about half a dozen songs that were right around that era, that early aughts, 2002, 2003 era. That again are like sense memory burned into my head. It's like that and the smell of fucking diesel fuel and cordite, you
Oh
know.
God.
Like those things. I'm like, oh, that flashbacks. Here we go. So yes, and now let's do the little more pre-show banter just for funsies. What gay furry hackers? That's the first thing I see in the rundown.
Dear God. There's so much more to that. Okay.
Do it.
I just want to know, with all the technology that we have today,
Yeah.
where are the cat girls?
Like, why have we not developed them?
Yeah. Okay. Because I believe, yeah, it was last year. There is a hacker group of gay furries. That is what they call themselves. Okay. They hacked into, I believe, a nuclear power plant, and they were like,
As
"We
you
are
do.
demanding." Yeah. And they were like, we are demanding that the world develops cat girls. Put money into researching, developing cat girls.
Look,
Um, and I was like, this is great.
I
Let's
don't know
do
if
it.
you've seen the shit coming out of CES the last couple of weeks when CES was going on. They're
No.
working on the sex robots, all right? And you know that
Oh.
cat girl sex robots are not far behind. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a thing. Cat girl sex robots, that's a thing that's gonna happen. Okay? That's we're gonna be there very soon.
If you have sex with a cat girl, is that bestiality?
I don't think so.
Right? No, it's still it's like part human, right?
Sure. I mean,
I don't know.
I'll allow it.
I
I
don't know.
I will fucking allow it. That's not beast. No, it's totally fine, right? Cat girls, that's you're on board. And that's going to be the theme for tonight's show, ladies and gentlemen. Is everything's better with cat girls?
Cat girls, meow meow.
Cat girls. All right. Hey, welcome to the Error Code Show for January 30th. Your place for news, pop culture, politics, gaming, whatever the hell else we want to talk about this week. As always, I'm Alex the Humanoid. Thank you for joining us tonight on TikTok and Twitch and YouTube. We're streaming now. I finally knuckled on and was like, you know, fine, Restreamio. I'm gonna pay you so I can go to multiple places. If you want to support the show, you can use your Prime membership. Comes with a free Twitch sub. You can give us Amazon's money. So go over to twitch.tv/Ericode Show and you can subscribe on there. Also, we're trying to like kickstart into the YouTube stuff and TikTok. So following us on YouTube and subscribing and hitting the little notification bell, that really helps us out quite a bit. So go ahead and get those going for us. We really, really appreciate it. And as always, during the course of the show, if there was anything you saw on the news this week or anything like that, that you were like, hey, I want you guys to talk about this, drop it into the chat, into any one of those various, chat thingies, and we'll try and hit that toward the end of the show. Okay, so you can sit there and ask us questions, and we'll try and get those at the end of the show. We do reserve the right to skip topics if we don't know enough about it or if we feel it's inappropriate and will get us demonetized or, destroyed. Okay, with that, we will move into our first main planned topic tonight. The entire AI industry got tossed on its fucking head this week. A Chinese company released a new AI model this week, and it appears to be as powerful as anything the US AI industry has come up with so far. And they've done it at a small fraction of the computing and, more importantly, the energy cost. This sent AI-related stocks, most specifically NVIDIA and a couple of energy stocks, just crashing on Monday. This happened just after the Trump administration announced Project Stargate, which is a $500 billion joint venture to build a whole bunch of AI infrastructure that now they're starting to figure out they may not need. My question is this the greatest troll of the American tech industry by China ever? Or what do we make of not only the timing, but what this could mean with how efficient this AI model is supposed to be?
Mm. Well, I'll also say that they were also able to supposedly, there's a lot of question behind this, but supposedly they were able to develop this in like the course of, I want to say like 2 months or something, like of insane like span of time.
Yeah.
And then also a lot cheaper than a lot of the American based
OpenAI
companies.
or Meta or anybody who's working on it. Yep.
Yeah, which honestly like kind of makes sense because like as soon as one person kind of paves the way, like others are going to find like cheaper ways to do it. But
Well, and the other reason I think that everybody kind of got caught off guard is so that the H100 chip that NVIDIA makes, which is why their stock has been skyrocketing the last couple of years, is a primary driver behind especially ChatGPT and OpenAI's work. Those are export controlled to China. So China's not
yeah,
supposed to have those. Now, we're going to come
yeah.
back to that portion of the topic later. But supposedly, the big thing is they're saying, hey, look, You guys export controlled this. We found a way to do it without it, right? The other interesting thing is they didn't just release it, they put it under MIT's open license
Yeah.
and said, everybody has access to the source code. You can do whatever you want with it, right? Which is huge. And so they made it open source. They gave all the code
Mhm.
away for free.
Yep.
And they were like, come at us, bro. Right. And they published a big technical document outlining how they did it.
Yeah.
Obviously, Nvidia stock went way, way down. Um, as of right now, it's recovered a teeny bit. But starting the week, it was at about $150 a share,
Mhm.
and it's down to 124.
Oh,
They
no.
lost they lost
Wow.
15% in market cap, so they at one point had lost $600 billion this week
Okay,
in
that's
market cap.
actually yeah, that hurts.
Um, they gave it away for free, straight up
Yeah,
free.
and that's honestly, that's what I love. I don't mm, mm. Coming from, like, the engineering point of view, I
I'm
think
going to
this
say
is a
you
great
are an
thing.
engineer.
Yeah, I think this is great. I love open source stuff. When I was in college for my engineering degree, I used open source machine learning for my project, for my senior design. I Whenever something is open source, it kind of feels like, hey, we are like, we're not so much, like, worried about profits, like, we're putting this technology out there to help, like, advance the technology, if that kinda makes sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, there could be some conspiracy theories out there of, like, "Oh, they're trying to crash NVIDIA, they're trying to crash the US stock market." Overall, though, as an engineer, so far of everything I've read and watched, I'm like, this is a good thing. Like, because here's what's going to happen. It's open source. So legit every single US company that's involved in the AI industry is going to take their stuff and in the next, I don't know, 2 or 3 months going to start using their research to advance their own AI. Like, this is going to move AI forward. Like, yes, it's gonna hurt stocks right now, but in, like, 6 months from now, like, you're gonna see some sort of leap in AI.
So I agree with you on that. And again, the fact that it's open source is huge, right?
Yeah,
Um, the thing that really interests me in a couple of ways about this is this. One of the big concerns about AI has been everything that we've had up to now requires an immense amount of power,
yes.
all right? Immense amounts of energy to make it function. What I
Yep.
like about this, in theory, again, all of this grain of salt, I think it's going to take months before all this is run down. But in theory, this can be run on a local server
Yeah.
without the crazy power demands, which again was concerning a lot of people who were worried about climate change and green energy and stuff like that, where it's like, crap, you need so much energy to build this, to do AI. And now they're going, and these Chinese guys are going, you really don't.
Yeah. Like, if this is true, if this is legit real and not a, god, I forgot the girl who promised the world that they could test for, like, every single disease in the
Oh
world
yeah,
with
yeah,
a
yeah,
drop
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
blood.
I know what you're talking about.
I
Elizabeth
forgot.
Holmes. What was the name of her company? I don't even remember.
I don't know. But, like, if it's legit, like, this is real, like, this is huge. I'll just say it. I'm an electrical engineer. I primarily focused on power generation. It's not what I'm currently doing, but all my classes are around power generation. Um, no, this is huge. Like, power, it's gonna be one of the it's like the largest, I would say, issue with electrical engineering right now is how do you keep up with the, I don't know, ever increasing demand of power,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So the fact that like China was able to find a way to do AI with less power is huge to me. I love it. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. And then like I read like 60 articles and it's like how horrible this is, but I'm like, I don't understand why it's
See,
bad.
a lot of this I think is a lot of CNBC, Wall Street Journal trying to fluff up,
Mhm.
right, the US market.
Yeah.
I got to imagine that Monday morning, Satya Nadella and Mark Zucker, all these guys were like crap, right? And I got to
Yeah.
imagine they had their engineering teams grabbing the source code Monday morning, going, "You better figure out if
Mhm.
this is actually working, because if it is, we're in,
100%.
you know, necessity is the mother of invention." And it looks like the Chinese were like, "Hey, look, you export controlled these chips, you tried to screw us." But between and the thing that I drew in my TikTok when I made a TikTok about this the other day was between the Tic Tac ban immediately being reversed and everything that happened there,
Mhm.
and then this immediately happening. It seems like every time the U.S. is like, "Look at us, look at us," they're like the Chinese right now are like, "Double birds, baby, we got you." Um, and I don't think our leadership is currently prepared for what's happening right now. I don't think we have the political or social will to deal with this. Adam Schiff was like, "This is our Sputnik moment." And I was like, you know what? You might be right. But if it is, we're screwed.
Mm.
We are screwed.
See,
Because if this is our Sputnik moment, we don't have the political leadership and social leadership to meet the moment, right? You don't have a JFK in there going, "We're going to go to the moon by the end of the decade." Like, you just don't have it.
so from a political point of view, I do agree with you. 100% I do agree with you. From an engineering point of view, I would say like, yeah, hopefully it is our spunknet,
Do,
right? Like,
do you think we have. Actually, let me rephrase this a different way.
mhm,
Let's presume for a moment that our engineering talent is on par or maybe slightly better than that of mainland China.
yeah.
Do we have the situation from a political and social standpoint? And I talk about the fact that, we're in a capitalist society, and that changes how you run business.
Mhm.
Do we have the ability to put that engineering talent to work in an efficient manner where we can catch up if we are as far behind as we may be?
Uh, this is a little tricky. Because honestly, like the engineering side of me wants to be like essentially like fuck our political leadership.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with it because
We
a
still got to
little bit
pay
of
these people. You got
we
to pay the
do,
engineers. You got to get them to do the work.
but however, I will say though, engineers I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. I used to be asked like, "Hey, is engineering hard?" And I would say, "No. Engineering's not hard. Anyone can be an engineer. Like Alex, you could be an engineer. Your wife could be an engineer. Anyone can be an engineer. The thing about engineers though is their dedication. So you have to put everything aside and you have to find a solution, period, point blank. So there were there were days where you have to say there's a problem, problem A, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go to sleep tonight until I solve it. Period. And with that, you have to tell your friends like, "Hey, I can't talk right now. I can't hang out. I have to figure this out."
Mm-hmm.
Um there were many nights which and again, you kind of make a trade-off of like, I will do whatever it takes to solve this problem. there were many nights where I had no sleep and I stayed awake from chocolate chip cookies and Monster Energy drinks, keeping myself awake. I went like 2 days with no sleep, literally just trying to figure stuff out. And I think like that's engineering's not hard, but most people do not have the dedication to do that. Most people want to go to college to party. Most people will give up after a while. Um, and honestly, like my father like passed away while I was in college. I took 1 day away from college to like deal with that, and then was like
Mm-hmm.
back to college. Like you have to have that mindset of like, no matter what comes up, I do not care. I do not care if the world's on fire. I don't care if Elon Musk deploys a Death Star into outer space. I am going to sit here. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to find a way. And kind of tying this back to your question, Alex, um, that kind of mindset, and there's people that take it way more like to the extreme than I do. I don't consider myself like some sort of genius, person. There's way like smarter people than me. There's way more dedicated people than me.
Mm-hmm.
They would probably laugh and be like, "Oh, you went without sleep for 2 days?" That's funny. Um, the thing about engineering is that you will find people that will just they will stay up and they will solve what like other people will say is like a pointless problem just to do it. So like, yes, it does suck. It 100% I agree with you. It does suck that we do not have the political leadership to back us on this. However, engineering is going to proceed. It's going to push forward. Um, you're going to have companies and also just random engineers that are going to just take on the task themselves. They're not going to wait for the right moment to kind of present itself.
I hope you're right. I have very little faith in us right now. That's my thing. I have so little faith in us. I just do. Um, it sucks, but that's kind of where we're at. Anyway, what do y'all think? Is this a big sea change? Is it the sea change we think it's going to be? Does this change the whole thing? What's going to be the next big troll coming out of China? Because I think that this is just their opening salvo. I think TikTok and Deepseek is just just the surface of what they're about to hit us with. So let us know what you think down in the comments below.
I personally, I I love AI because at least with AI you can create pictures of cat girls.
There you go.
I don't
There you
know.
go.
You can also create an online girlfriend chat bot who is a cat girl.
There's
I don't know.
there's so many, and again, I come back to porn makes the world go round. Porn makes the internet. Like the AI chatbots, like there's lots of porn ones out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can find the porn chatbots that are out
Yeah.
there, and that's where the real. We all know that that's where the real innovation is going to come. Okay, that's what's going to happen. Okay,
Yeah.
without porn, we don't have the modern internet. And honestly, between again, we were talking about this in the picture, right? Between the shit coming out of CES, you're gonna have AI chatbot powered cat girl sex robots in about, I think, in the next 3 years, right? Now, all the ones I've seen still have that kind of uncanny valley look to them, right? Where like the ones that like they're trying to make them look realistic, you're like, it looks
Yeah.
real, but in a creepy way.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh god, yeah.
Like it doesn't look quite right.
Yeah.
Again, for those of us joining right now, you can if you've got topics you want us to talk about, you saw something in the news, go ahead and drop those down in the comments. We'll try and get to those at the end of the show. Meanwhile, Jay's got a lovely topic about us. I had seen some news reports about this and I'd kind of been avoiding it because it's so messy. But you threw it in the rundown tonight. So you know what? You can go ahead and do this one in the rundown. We're going to get into some Hollywood drama. Jay, take it away.
Yeah, actually, this isn't me. This is AI. So I'm not sure what AI put in here. Let's see. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds' wife, if you're not familiar, or what was her name? Like female Deadpool, Mrs. Deadpool,
Lady Deadpool.
Lady Deadpool.
Lady Deadpool.
So she did a movie entitled "It Ends with Us." I did not watch it because it seemed like a very sad, depressing movie about domestic violence. However, I recently found out that there's a lot of on-set drama to kind of unpack about this, which is kind of insane.
And now lawsuits.
And now lawsuits from both sides. It's really kind of crazy. Um, so I'm gonna try to like walk us through a little bit of what we currently know. Um, so at the very beginning, Blake filed a complaint with the California Civil Rights Department claiming that her co-star invaded her privacy, entering her makeup trailer uninvited while she was undressed. He also supposedly pressured her into trying to lose weight, like
She had
lose
just had a
weight.
baby.
Yeah, she just had a baby. He evidently was trying to make her like lose weight. Um, don't really know. This is really kind of interesting. Her co-star, I do not know how to pronounce his name. Baldoni?
Yeah, Justin Baldoni.
Um, he was dropped by his talent agency. And then also Vital Voices, a nonprofit that focuses on empowering women, rescinded an award it gave to him, who has made a career expressing his support of women's stories and co-hosted a podcast. We're not going to kind of get into that, but supposedly he had a podcast. He kind of wanted to kind of promote women and their stories.
Mm-hmm.
He won an award on it, and then they took that award back because of these allegations. Um, and then it just like keeps piling on. Then he was sued by his ex um, publicist over an alleged conspiracy to discredit her and steal her clients. Right? I don't really know. Then then Blake formally filed a lawsuit in New York federal court against him. Um, let's see here.
Then he filed the libel lawsuit against the New York Times for their
Yeah,
reporting
then
on the story.
yeah, he filed a $250 million lawsuit against the New York Times. Um, and then that's when he started fighting back. He stated he was going to sue Blake into oblivion, um, and kind of accused her of multiple allegations. Um, I don't know. Long story short, in 2026, March 9th, we're actually going to see a trial date. This is going to be very interesting. I think basically this is a very classic tale of a woman kind of speaks out of sexual harassment, and then like the male starts kind of firing back. But my question is this going to be like the new? I know it's not going to be as big because her co-star is not really that well known, but is this going to be like the next Amber Heard Johnny Depp case?
No, because it's not like they were married, right? Johnny Depp and Amber
True.
Heard were married, and that one was whoo-hoo. So the reason,
Yeah.
like, I had tagged this story a while ago, and we didn't do it on the show because I wasn't sure about this story. And the reason that I wasn't sure about the story was because the drama had started right before the movie came out. Was that when they were doing press tours and stuff, the press started getting word that something weird was happening based on what was going on with the It Ends With Us. And the
Mhm.
rumors that were coming out at the time was that Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, because Justin Baldoni directed this as well, right? He wasn't just in it, he directed the film, was that they had basically taken over post-production and shut him out, right? and that there was a whole big thing with Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively on one side, and uh and Justin Baldoni on the other. Um, so this was before all the other stuff, came out. Um, I don't know, and I didn't know what to make of it at the time, right? And then obviously all the damn lawsuits started getting filed, first by Blake Lively and then by him. So do I think this is another Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation? No. What I'll be honest. I've read both civil complaints.
Oh, wow.
To include the text messages that were released and stuff like that. You want my honest opinion?
100%.
I think this is two shitty people who were doing shitty things to one another. Right? My wife knows this. Like, there's a whole genre of TV shows that I call rich people doing shitty things to each other. Right? Okay? Like, and that's like, it's like Succession and stuff like that. Yellowstone. I'm like, look, rich people doing shitty things to each other. Woohoo! Like, I'm sorry. You're doing shitty things to each other.
Yeah.
I love Ryan Reynolds movies.
I do, yeah.
But there is a portion of Ryan Reynolds that reminds me of people that I have known in real life when I see interviews with him. And I don't want to say it sets off the hairs on the back of my neck where I'm like, I know people like you, right?
Yeah.
You're extremely charismatic. Everybody wants to like you, but there is something just under the surface that's kind of fucked up. So I don't know what to make of this lawsuit on either side. And so again, my honest opinion, it's two rich shitty people doing rich shitty things to one another, right?
And I would say that was also Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. My takeaway from it was they were both rich people doing shitty things to each other, and it got kind of out of hand. Yes, they're not married, but I don't know. This is interesting.
I think it's going to be interesting to see once it gets to court.
Yes.
But I won't be surprised if this goes away. I will not be shocked, right? If all of a sudden both cases are dropped and there is a quiet settlement with nothing disclosed. Right?
Yeah.
Like, if that story was to come, if Deadline was to come out tomorrow and be like, both cases have been settled out of court with terms undisclosed, I won't be shocked. Like, I will not be surprised. Right? This just feels ugly and messy.
Yeah.
Why did you clock this story for the rundown today? I guess that's what I'm curious about. Like, what grabbed you about this?
Yeah. First of all, I would just want to shout out. So Logan, love you too. She said, "Hey guys, love your insights." Let's see here. So Canada Dry 86 stated that she never. So she said that she read the book, but she never saw the movie. She's not a great person. One, evidently she romanticizes abuse, and it's icky. Two, her son was accused of sexual harassment, and
But I think
tried
she's
to
talking
sweep
about
it
the
under
author
rug.
of the book that the movie was
Yes,
based on.
author of the book.
Yeah.
Very interesting there. That's like, I don't know. That's so one, to answer your question, Alex, one, I recently just heard about it for the first time, and I think it was the actually setting of the court, I don't know, the date of the court case next year. that I actually heard about it. And I was like, wait, what is this? And I started looking into it. And it was the interesting thing of a movie about domestic abuse has a sexual harassment lawsuit slash defamation lawsuit. And then now I guess, Canada Dry 86 is pointing out that the author tried to sweep up sexual harassment under the rug. This whole story is just like really interesting how a movie could go from, hey, this is a movie about
We're trying to, yeah,
domestic abuse,
we're trying to highlight domestic abuse and things and make it better. Yeah.
but then it like spawns sexual abuse. Like I don't, oh god. I don't know. It's very ironic, I guess,
Like,
in a very sad way.
it's, it really is fucking strange. It's really, really
Yeah.
strange. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on the story. If you guys like this story, leave it down in the comments. Tell us if you want us to keep talking about topics like this. Again, I'd clocked this one a while ago. But again, this one's so weird and messy. And it's like, well, I released these text messages. Well, I released these ones. And it's like, it's funny how each of you is releasing different sets of messages that each of you have, but the other one didn't release the same one. Like, something about this is clocking weird to me. Anyway, let us know what you think down in the comments below about this whole situation. Yeah. Just for fun, because we were talking about it before the show. There's some cat girls for everyone, right? You can just
What?
Google
Where?
cat girls, right?
Ah,
Right there on the stream for you, right?
I want to point out we were talking about this in the pre-show, and I literally saw Alex like Googling
Well, I
cat
may as well. So I keep the rundown and all the stuff, like our references, up here on my computer because I'm producing while I'm streaming with Jay, because that's my side of the partnership here is producing the thing and making sure that our streams run nicely and things like that. Yeah.
I
So
just think you didn't know what cat girls were. I'm just gonna call you out on it.
believe me, I've seen more than my fair share of cat girls because I've been to enough anime conventions. Chat saying I watched a clip of an interview with Anna Kendrick, Blake Lively. Anna Kendrick was that like she really didn't want to be with Blake. I've seen those interviews, and her and Blake Lively did that movie a while ago, the Simple Favor movie. And like yeah. Again, there was some, yeah. There's some weirdness going on there with the whole Blake Lively Anna Kendrick thing, with everything else. Yes, Anna Kendrick is one of my hall passes, right? My wife is in the chat talking about how she's one of my hall passes. Like if I ever had that opportunity, like that's happening, right? I love Anna Kendrick. I think she's adorable. It's weird. I don't know.
Is it weird? And also, yeah, happy birthday, Canada Dry 86.
Yes, happy birthday to my wife, and I'm on here streaming while and it's my wife's birthday. We did take her out and bought her. We tried to do the 5-minute, 2-minute challenge at Barnes and Noble, where she got to look for 5 minutes, and then she has 2 minutes to grab as many books as she wants to grab for her display shelves, right, as possible. And she got a big, huge $250 like display set of a book series that she really loves.
Oh wow.
So she has to bring those up in her. She's gonna have to rearrange her entire office. For those that have been around, like this is my studio and office, and my wife has her own, which is good. Marital happiness comes from each of you having your own spaces, right? Dead serious. And so, but she's got to rearrange it there because she's just got all kinds of stuff, right? I have weird like baseball tchotchkes and lightsabers and stuff, right? So there's an adipose right there from Doctor Who, my radio, right? So there you go. Um. All right, moving on. Actually, I think this next one is yours too because we're running short on topics, which actually reminds me, if you're watching us on TikTok, YouTube, or Twitch, if there's any news stories or interesting topics that you've seen over the last couple weeks that you'd like us to opine on, go ahead and drop them in the chat right now. We will try and get to those at the end of the show. We always like to take some chat questions as we move through the show. So feel free to drop those in, again, either on TikTok, YouTube, or Twitch. Yes, I am monitoring all three at the same time. So, moving on. Dave Franco.
Yeah, Dave Franco. The younger brother of James Franco, who we all know and, from his very popular documentary of kink.com entitled Kink, right? We've all seen it, right?
Not where I know Dave Franco from, but no.
Not Dave Franco, but his brother James Franco.
Did James Franco make that? Jesus. All right. Well,
yeah, James Franco made a he produced a documentary of kink.com entitled Kink. Fun little fact there. Anyways, just kidding. Dave Franco, we all know him, or at least we know his eyebrows, right? During an interview with Hollywood Reporter, he was asked, "Has anyone approached you to play Luigi?" Obviously not the Mario character, but the accused United Healthcare CEO killer. And this was during a promotion during his new horror film called Together.
Yep.
And his response was like, "I've never received more texts in my life about anything." And then he also confirmed that he's not been approached to play this role yet. But if you look at a side-by-side,
I've got it pulled up for the people in the stream so they can see.
That is 100% like the best casting I have ever seen.
I mean, if you're going just purely on looks right there, yes, yeah. that is absolutely Luigi Mangione. Absolutely. Yep. Nope. I fully buy it. I fully buy it.
I don't know. I would love to kind of see him play that character. I do.
I'm curious if that's going to end up happening someday. Like, I know we're going to get like a Dateline special about the Mangione thingy, right? But I think doing a movie about him, I'm going to be curious. I'm going to be curious if that ever happens. I will not be surprised if that doesn't ever happen.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like a lot of people would want to sweep that under the rug. Want to just move on and forget about this.
Have you noticed that like the news regarding Luigi Mangione, like it's done. Like I haven't heard shit.
See, that's really tricky because honestly, like I will agree with you. I have to go look for updates, but that is because of our wonderful president doing like 800 crazy shit every single day. That's hard to keep up with and is flooding our news outlets, I would say. And also RFK rambling on with his shaky voice of whatever he's talking about currently. But
we'll get to that one later in the show.
We will cover that later. But no, I think that's why. I think like the whole Trump craziness is like kind of like that's everyone's focused. But I don't know. I kind of want to see a movie, and I kind of want to see Dave Franco play Luigi. Is that bad? Is that bad?
I mean, I don't think that's bad. I don't think it's bad. I think it's just a thing. Speaking of controversial movies, this is interesting. We'll just toss this in. So they're doing a Michael Jackson biopic, right?
I did not know those.
They're doing so. Ryan, is it Ryan? Who's directing this? Coleman Domingo is doing a Michael Jackson biopic, right? So they wrote the script, right? And they sent it to the Jackson estate, right? And said, "Hey, double check our stuff, right? Oh, sorry, it's being directed by Antoine Fuqua, right? Which is amazing. Antoine Fuqua is a great filmmaker. They said, hey, double check our stuff to make sure we're good legally. And the Michael Jackson estate went, you're good. Film. So they shot the movie, right? And then, about a week ago, this breaks. The Jackson estate calls the filmmakers, and they're like, hey, you know how we told you were good? You're not good.
That does not surprise me.
So, according to reports from Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, and everything else like that, and this was the thing that people were wondering about the Jackson biopic, was, are they going to stay away from the allegations around Jackson? Right? Apparently, they weren't going to stay away from it. They were going to address it in the biopic, which I thought was brave of Antoine Fuqua. Well, here's the problem. Apparently, it's a large portion of the first and the third act of the film, right? The portions of the allegations that they put into the film are governed by a settlement agreement that Michael Jackson made with one of the victims. And and one of those settlements is that they cannot put anything about that kid in any media related to Michael Jackson. Right? And so the Jackson estate had to go back to the filmmakers and go, hey, you didn't put this in the movie, did you? And they were like, yeah, it's a large portion of the movie. And they were like, can't do it. And so now they're going to have to go back and reshoot supposedly like a third of the movie.
Wow.
Now, supposedly the Jackson estate, because they screwed up, is paying for the reshoots. Right?
Wow.
So the Jackson estate said, hey, we screwed up. We missed this when you sent us for script review. We'll pay for the reshoots. But the film has now been delayed because they have to go back and reshoot portions of the movie to take out any references to the kid. Right? That settled with Michael Jackson. So, there you go. They goofed up. They goofed up.
Yeah, that sounds like a horrible goof right there.
Yeah. So they're currently reshooting it. It's been delayed. I have been very kind of off and on about the Michael Jackson biopic. I think that as a subject, I think it's like, look, regardless of how you feel about him, he is one of the biggest pop stars in the last 100 years. Full stop. He did have, from his life as a child star and in that family as part of the Jackson 5 through when he died, he had an interesting life, right? So I can see why a biopic would be of interest to people.
Yeah.
I was always curious how they were going to handle the allegations. Do you just completely ignore them and do a biopic about everything else? But then you're going to be like, then people are going to be like, why did you do that? But then do you put it in there? And how do you do it? Right? I'll be honest, I will probably go see the film when it releases just because I'm curious.
Yeah, no.
And it's not like I'm supporting Michael Jackson. He's dead.
Yeah, 100%. No. And you're just supporting our unofficial sponsor who is not a sponsor and has not paid for any sort of advertising at all on our channel. But if they did, we 100% would do it. AMC A-lister.
We love our AMC A-list. We do. Okay. Somebody had dropped something in the chat a little while ago.
Yeah, there's a lot of conversation
Hang
in
on,
the chat right now.
no, somebody dropped a. Oh, yes. Scream 7. They're bringing back Matthew Lillard. Somebody in the chat correct me, right? Didn't he die? Didn't his character die in the movie? I could have sworn Matthew Lillard's character died in the movie. So I don't know how they're bringing it back. Don't get me wrong. I love Matthew Lillard, right? Yeah, TV in the head is what chat is telling me.
Oh, come on. No one's ever actually dead.
Apparently in the Scream thing, he threw a TV, electrocuted. Yeah. You know, that's what I thought too. To answer another chat question, who's playing Michael? His nephew.
Wow.
Jafar Jeremiah Jackson is the son of Jermaine Jackson, and he is playing Michael in the film. So,
Oh, that's kind of weird, right?
apparently, and from set reports of the Michael Jackson biopic, apparently he's fucking transformative. Like, he looks, sounds, is Michael.
Weird.
Right? So that's who's doing it. So yes, Matthew Lillard's coming back for another Scream. He was recently in the FNAF movie, right? The Five Nights at Freddy's video game franchise. They made their movie. He was in that. I love Matthew Lillard. My first memory of Matthew Lillard is the movie Hackers.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that movie?
Yeah.
I love that movie.
That's good. Yeah.
I absolutely adore that movie. And that's the first movie I remember Matthew Lillard from, was from Hackers in like 1996. Right? That movie's a classic. All right.
Yeah.
Again, serial killer. Yes, that's who he was in the movie. His hacker name was Serial Killer. And I absolutely I love that fucking movie.
Wasn't he in that movie like 13 Ghosts or whatever?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Shaggy. Yeah.
And Shaggy. He was in She's All That. One of his classic roles, and if you have not watched this film, it's on like my probably like 100 like must-watch films, is SLC Punk. Right? If you have not seen SLC Punk, go watch SLC Punk. It's an amazing, amazing film. I can't speak highly enough of SLC Punk. Such a good film. All right. Moving right along to our next thing. And yes, I know sometimes you guys get irritated about sports, but here, actually, before I get into this one, if you have any other topics, throw them in the chat. You guys can do this. What's the premise of SLC Punk? It's about two punk rock kids who live in Salt Lake City in the like late 1980s. And just their life. It's kind of a slice of life dramedy. Right? And it's super fucking good. Yes, I know you guys don't always love sports, but we're going to talk about one thing because it's the one sporting event that most people watch every year, and that is the Superb Owl. Right? You're not allowed to say the word because the NFL has it copyrighted. Right?
Wait,
Dead serious.
what?
Yeah, you're supposed to pay them if you use the term. The Superb Owl, the big game, is coming in 2 weeks. This last weekend was the NFC and AFC championships, and it set our competitors for the Oblong Sports Ball. Thank you, chat. Matchup that is coming soon. The bowl that is super, and it's the matchup that no one wanted. We're going back to the Super Bowl from 2 years ago, Super Bowl 57, when the Eagles lost to the Chiefs, starting the Chiefs' three-peat dreams. And now, just a mere 2 Super Bowls later, we get them back. My curiosity about this, because I've seen a lot of reaction to this since the NFC and AFC championships last weekend, and that is, I wonder if the ratings go down this year because everybody's kind of sick of Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs, um, especially after all the ref controversy and everything else that's been going on this year. Are we just tired of the Chiefs and their constant domination at the top of the NFL? Um, this again, it's one of the always one of the most viewed TV events of every single year is the Super Bowl. Um,
God.
because again, even if you're not a big football person, a lot of people go to parties and they watch, and it's the commercials. Which, by the way, 30-second spot for the Super Bowl this year is 30 million, or sorry, $8 million for 30 seconds. Right?
Um, Alex, can you remind me? Can you check our budget? Can we afford that?
No, no.
Okay.
30-second spot is $8 million this year for the prime spots for that. So, Jay, do you care about this Super Bowl at all, or is it basically only people in Kansas City and Philadelphia that give a crap?
So, okay, one, people will take whatever I don't know, any reason they can take to party, they're going to party. I I mean, I used to go to a lot of Super Bowl parties just to go to
Food,
parties. Yeah, and food, hang out with people.
watch the fun
Um,
commercials. They always have very interesting commercials.
love the commercials. Sometimes I really love the halftime show.
I think it's Kendrick Lamar this year.
Ooh, interesting. Um, but to answer like a previous question that you had, are people getting tired of the Chiefs? I would say probably no, because like, didn't the Patriots have like a, I don't know, a 48-year dominance? Not 48 years. I
No,
know I'm over exaggerating, but they were way more
yes and no.
dominant.
So first off, they
Yeah.
never got a three-peat, and they were never in danger of getting a three-peat. They were never they were never in a position to win 3 Super Bowls in a row. So in spite
Okay.
of the fact that they won a lot, they had kind of off and on years where other teams would get in. And they also lost twice to the Giants, right?
Mhm.
Um, and so I think that I think people were getting sick of the Patriots, right?
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people were happy when Belichick was gone and Brady was gone because it kind of opened it back up. So, but again, nobody's kind of hit the three-peat yet. And it's never happened in the history of the NFL. So if the Chiefs do it this
Oh.
year, it's the first time somebody's won 3 Super Bowls in a row.
And remind me, is this the third year or the second year where Taylor Swift is the quarterback for the Chiefs?
um, second year.
Second year. Okay.
Second year. This is the second season she's been with Travis.
Okay.
Um, on that, I think if Travis Kelsey, I think if the Chiefs win, Travis, it's time to retire. Right? I saw some good commentary this week. Like, look, dude, take your millions because you're uber rich, right? And go be house husband to the most famous woman in the world. Like, what do you need to keep playing football, getting your head knocked in for? Right? Like, why? Why bother? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of tricky. Because I think there's a saying that an athlete dies twice. Once when he realizes that his career is over, and then once when he's actually buried in the ground. And I not trying to like compare myself to, the NFL at all, but I was very athletic when I was in elementary, middle, and high school. I broke a track record in high school. I was on varsity soccer. I was captain of the soccer team. I Everyone thought I was going to get a college scholarship. And I mean, since the second grade, I had been kind of training to go into pro soccer. Um, when you get hurt and you realize that you're kind of done, there is this like really weird, like, I don't know what to do with my life. I don't know. And it's very easy, I think, for outside people to look at and just be like, just take your millions and go party with Taylor Swift, have fun. What the hell? Why are you crying? But there is like a lot of like, what am I supposed to do? Because if you're conditioned at a very early age, like this is your life. Like you're meant to.
And I can understand that to a point. Now, to Travis Kelce's credit,
Yeah,
him and his brother run the #1 sports podcast in the world. Right?
that's fair. Yeah.
Okay. Their sports podcast is more popular than anyone's in the world. And I've listened to a bit of it. It's funny. They're a good duo. Right? If you haven't actually seen it, somebody brought up, he was on a weird Disney Plus show last year. If you haven't watched the bit, he hosted SNL a couple years ago. Travis Kelce did. And he does this skit with Bo and Yang, right? Who's the gay Asian guy on SNL, called Straight Male Friend, right? Go watch that bit on YouTube of Saturday Night Live, because you could tell that Travis is in on the joke, right? Like, he knows what the stereotype of him is, and he can make fun of it, right?
Yeah.
He's going to be in the new Happy Gilmore movie, right, with Adam Sandler. I don't know how big his part is, but he's there. Him and his brother have both set themselves up to have lives after football. Jason's on ESPN now. You know, I have no doubt that Travis will get a gig.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to go into the Hall of Fame as a tight end. He's won at least 2 Super Bowls, right? And if he wins again this year, he'll have 3. You know, yeah. Somebody said Sandler broke or something. No, he's just doing what he wants to do now. He's it's the opposite. He's so rich he can just do silly shit now. But again, kind of coming back to the Super Bowl. Again, I wonder if ratings go down because again, there's so many people who are just tired of them. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I am less, I'll be honest, and I typically watch the Super Bowl. I am a football fan. I got my Seahawks shirt on, right? I will be honest. I am less interested in this year because I don't care who wins. Right? I saw a good meme on Twitter. It was like, who everyone's rooting for the Super Bowl is like Kansas City, Philadelphia. The rest of the country is great. It says meteor strike. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm rooting for the Eagles because I don't want a three-peat.
That honestly, coming from the South, we care more about college football,
which is a whole separate thing. We can talk about that sometime. With the new playoff bracket format, right? And I look at Jay shaking his head like, nope, don't like this. Well, and the NIL screwed the SEC, but that's a whole other topic for another day. Maybe we'll talk about that as we get closer to college football season and how the SEC is now screwed permanently from the NIL. And that was going to happen. Is why Saban left. But yeah, let us know what you think down in the comments below. Are you going to watch the big game this year? Do you care? Do you think it's worth watching a repeat of a Super Bowl from 2 years ago? Right? And will the outcome be any different? Let us know down in the comments below. All right.
Yep.
Once again, if you've got something that you want us to talk about, go ahead and drop it in the comments. So to respond to something in the chat, college slave ball, that's what happened. The short version of this, college football players can get paid now. And the reason Saban left Alabama was he knew that over a period of time, there's just not enough money in Alabama to support a football program when these guys can go to USC and UCLA and places in the country where there's a lot more cash floating around, right? And he knew, and he said it on his exit press conference. He's like, look, the NIL is going to change everything, right? And if you look at the outlays for cash to each of these colleges for what they can pay the players, whoo boy, the SEC's fucked because there's just not enough cash in Alabama to do it. Who's got the biggest? Hang on, NIL biggest coffer. Who's got the NIL collectives? Who's got the largest? I can look it up real quick because actually it's public information. Who's got the most money? Texas. Texas spent $22 million this year.
God.
And there's a lot of money in Texas because a lot of oil money.
Yeah, that does make sense. And
that's the Longhorns. The Aggies got 17.2. Michigan
Texas loves their football.
Yeah, I mean, oh wait, here we go. Football. 140,000 per athlete. Georgia, again, you got Atlanta there. Guess who's right behind them? Who's big ones? Washington's got 100 million in their coffer.
100 million.
Penn State. Yeah. They've got just the NIL thingy. It changed the game.
Interesting. So fun little. So supposedly Nick Saban never would have coached Alabama if it wasn't for, hang on. Just have to grab this off my desk. If it wasn't for Bobby Bowden turning down the position to go to FSU.
Oregon's estimated at number 3.
Oregon?
3 or 4. Texas is up there. Miami's up there.
Miami?
Florida State's in the top 10.
I'm still very sad to bring up Florida State.
Yeah, and yes, the kids should get paid. And again, this is why they came up with the NIL, right?
Yeah.
Was they were like, look, we've got to stop doing this.
Oh yeah.
It's very much a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. But yes, now you can just pay these kids. And there's a legal framework to do it. Right? So they're not doing it with bags of cash in the trunk of a Beamer anymore, which is what they used to do. Right? It was what's the term in the colleges in the South? Boosters? It's boosters leaving a bag of $100 bills in the back of a Beamer.
Yeah.
Right? Was what they used to do. Right?
100%.
Now they're just like, cool, put your money in here and we'll divvy it out. Right?
It 100% makes sense to me to pay these quote unquote kids because the college is making money off of them, period.
Well, to me, that wasn't the only thing that bugged me. The one that turned me, the one that radicalized me on this one was, we're going to take random running back, right, who goes to play for LSU or Alabama, right?
Yeah.
If he blows his knee out in his junior year, that's it. That's you're done. Right?
Yep.
You're never getting to the NFL. You're screwed. They'll pull your scholarship. There's no coverage. There's nothing. Right? Let these kids get paid while they can get paid.
That's literally the story of Friday Night Lights. I know that was high school, but I mean, still same thing.
Yeah.
Like it's, and also like while you're going to college, like these colleges love to say like crap, like, oh, they're here for education first. That is bullshit.
Nope.
I have known players that have college scholarships that would be like, I want to go for engineering, and they would say, no, we will give you a a college scholarship if you go for communications or something easy, because your number one time dedication is supposed to be football and then college. Like it's such, I don't know, it's such crap. Like they should get paid, or they should have been paid a long time ago. These
And it's a legal monopoly, the NCAA.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there you go. And again, it's why Saban left Alabama. He was like, I can't do this anymore.
I think it's part that. I think Nick Saban like realized like Nick Saban, he left a huge legacy. Like anyone in the South knows Nick Saban.
Oh yeah.
Like, come on. It's good to like end on a high note. He can do anything. In the South, he can do literally anything. And I don't know, it's kind of, I think I think there was a lot of things that like kind of made Nick Saban leave, or like made him realize it was time to leave, but like I don't know. To me, I think he knew when to quit. I think he knew he couldn't win forever, and it was just like, oh, let's just end on kind of a high note a little bit, and just like ride into the sunset with my millions of dollars and do something else.
All right. By the way, speaking of coaches, the Raiders hired Pete Carroll, so the Raiders will be my backup team next year. I'm excited for the Raiders. I actually want to get down to Vegas because I heard their stadium is really nice. So they hired Pete Carroll this week, I think, and literally across the board, everybody's like, that was the smartest move that the Raiders could have made, was hiring Pete Carroll. Marshawn Lynch went down to Pete's opening press conference because he's from the Bay. He's a big-time Raiders guy. He played for the Raiders for a minute. So he was down there. He screamed during Pete's press conference, like screamed out. And it went up. There's a good video of him seeing Pete right afterwards. So yeah, I'm excited for the Raiders. They've had some problems since they moved to Vegas. But yeah, they hired Pete Carroll. I love Pete as a coach. He did a wonderful job up here in Seattle. I don't agree with I agree with their decision to move on from Pete, but Pete's 73 and he looks like he's fit. Dude, if I had Pete's energy at 55 and 73 years old, I will consider myself lucky. That man moves like a man 30 years younger than he is. So good for Pete. All right, moving on. Last chance, by the way, we're going to get into our last topic for the day, our last planned topic. So if you've got anything in the chat, either on TikTok, Twitch, or YouTube, go ahead and drop those in the comments. And drop them in the comments. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about as we get ready to close out the show in a few minutes. Jay, you had some questions for me.
Yeah. Primarily I just wanted to ask you why FSU is not allowed to play for the national championship. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. That's a separate. No. So I wanted to talk about Shaky Voice. I'm sorry, RFK. I saw your TikTok video about Monster energy drinks, and how if RFK was actually serious about health, he would ban, I believe, nicotine and also Monster energy drinks. But fill me in here, catch me up to speed, because I've seen a lot of videos on RFK, but I haven't been able to kind of catch up on all of the kind of craziness. So fill me in on this RFK thing.
So obviously, for those that don't know, RFK was nominated to be the Secretary of Health and Human Services by the current president, Orange Man. And he's been going through his confirmation hearings this week, and it's hilarious. I can't stand to listen to his voice for more than a few minutes because it's bad. He has dysphonia, and I feel bad for him because it's a medical condition, and we shouldn't make fun of it. It's not his fault. I can't listen to it. That being said, I have always felt his Make America Healthy Again, all that stuff was bullshit. Bullshit. Why? Because between him and Pete Hegseth, we're like health and readiness, and our kids are obese, We are not banning basic shit. So my point was, you chicken shits won't do what I know you could do, if you really cared about health, you would ban tobacco and energy drink use for the armed forces. Because that's not healthy, okay? So much of our armed forces is under fucking deep levels of chemical addiction to caffeine and nicotine. You chicken shits won't do it because there'd be riots in the fucking street, okay? Like, there would literally be riots in the street if you tried to do that. But that's also why I know your health stuff. The other funny thing is, motherfucker popped a Zyn in the middle of his confirmation hearing.
What?
In the confirmation thingy, he popped a fucking Zyn. Like nobody was going to know. Like he kind of looked down and did the like, right? He popped a fucking Zyn. Do not talk to me about health and not be talking about tobacco and other things like that, which are a bigger threat to our health than anything else. Zyn is a new nicotine pouch. It's kind of replaced dip for a lot of people. For chat's asking what a Zyn is. It's ZYN. It's a nicotine pouch. So it's not tobacco, but it's a synthetic nicotine pouch that you again put in like you used to put in like dip things. Jay, you're from the South. You saw people dip a lot, I'm sure.
No, they still dip. I don't know. All of you tech people and your little tech hubs with all your fancy technology. What is this? What is a Zen? Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Is it a robot you put in your mouth?
Vapes, Zins, right? I don't give a shit. Okay. If you were worried about health, that's the shit you would be fucking banning, which you don't. And you're not going to do it because you're chicken shits, right? You want to talk about readiness? Get everybody in the military off the deep levels of chemical addictions that they're in. Okay? Sorry. I retired after 23 years in the Army. I can say this shit. Everybody's fucking on something. Okay? Everybody. Okay?
All right. So question real quick.
Go.
I have done no research into this, but wouldn't that then be a concern of national security if you would ban Monster? Wouldn't we have like some sleepy boys?
Oh, yeah. No, they would. Yeah. They would pass out. Look.
Maybe that's why they can't
that's
ban.
always the joke, right? That the armed forces, the Army runs on caffeine, nicotine, and hate. Like, that's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. And again, it's why I never bought any of it. There's a lot of things about this whole confirmation process from Hegseth and RFK and all these motherfuckers that I just don't buy personally. But the fact of the matter is that to me is the largest amount of hypocrisy. Okay? Tobacco, and I say this as a longtime smoker, it's bad, right? It is. It's terrible for you, okay? We're not talking about banning tobacco in this country. We're not. Okay? You're not doing it. So don't talk to me about health. Okay? Get rid of the shit that's actually making us unhealthy. You know? Somebody in the chat saying, then you'd have to actually improve working conditions for the military. Yeah, we know they can't do that. You know? Have you watched any of the other confirmation hearings besides the stuff that I'm calling them chicken shits about?
Oh my God. It's so much, Alex. There's so much. I can't keep up with everything. The Orange Man is doing so much. There's the confirmation hearing so much. There's the cat girls. The cat girls need to be petted. I can't pick. It's hard. It's hard for me to divide my time.
They're flooding the zone, man. They are flooding the zone.
And Dog Dad here said, I used to be ripped. No, I used to take ripped fuel and Red Bull. I have no idea what ripped.
Oh, no, Rippets, right, man.
Rip-
They used to, and this is, again, the thing that I used to tell people. I will bring this up in the chat. So we lived on Rippets and freaking Pop-Tarts.
What is Rippets?
Rippets.
What is that?
Rippets are a type of energy drink that you can barely find in America. They have these little tiny cans. See these little cans right here? Right? And the reason is you don't want to drink one of the big ones because you'll have fucking heart palpitations. Okay? They used to ship pallets of these energy drinks to the desert to give to us for free, right? We just had energy drinks and Pop Tarts, right? I went through many the 10 to 12 hour combat patrol with Pop Tarts in my cargo pocket to snack on and Rippets and Mountain Dew. Okay, like it's again. This was basically the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan were basically sponsored by Rip-It. Okay, they taste terrible, right? We used to drink them lukewarm because they're sitting out in the desert sun on a pallet. Okay. Like, you guys were shipping the shit to the desert. So stop talking to me about health. Okay? Like, stop it. It's all bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, I feel like 90% of politics is just bullshit.
I mean, but this is really taking it to a new level, right? Like, under normal circumstances, we're like, look, we're just gonna do status quo silly shit, right? An incremental change. I'm fine. Okay? But stop lecturing me about health and all this other stuff and saying all these things that you're gonna do in your confirmation hearings when you're sitting there and it's fucking obvious, you know. This is the shit they just do, you know. It's absolute crap. And again, the fact that he popped a Zyn, a nicotine pouch in the middle of his hearing, right? Okay. Yeah. Here you go. In the Daily Mail, right? RFK Jr. appears to pop Gen Z's favorite drug in the middle of his Senate confirmation hearing. Right? It's a nicotine pouch.
Oh God. Is it bad that I love RFK just because it's like, to me it's like Jersey Shore, that TV show, horrible TV show, but I could not stop watching because it was like watching a train wreck.
What the hell happened to the Kennedy family? Y'all just lost it.
Well, there's like a conspiracy theory about being cursed and you know everyone dying, the one sister being lobotomized, there's a whole conspiracy theory behind that. I don't know.
Yeah. It's absolutely mind-boggling to me. Tulsi started her confirmation hearings today. RFK's full of crap. Hegseth's full of crap. They still don't have half the cabinet stuff confirmed. Kash Patel started his today. The whole thing is a shit show. You know. And
then also, so Dog Dad just said inbreeding. Is that another energy drink? What is that?
I think that's what he's accusing the Kennedy family of.
I'm kidding.
I mean, take that for what it's worth. You know, yeah, his sister's all up in arms about him right now. She's released a bunch of stuff. I think
I have seen that. Yeah,
I think he's gonna get confirmed by the skin of his teeth, much like Hegseth. Hegseth, the VP, had to come in and cast a tiebreaker. Like they lost enough Republicans on Hegseth where they got down to 50-50. And the VP had to come in and cast the tiebreaker in the Senate to get Hegseth across the board. I think RFK is going to get confirmed for reasons that bigger understanding, but
no, it's just money.
Tulsi's probably the one that's at the most danger of not getting confirmed because there's a lot of Republicans who got issues with her still. So, but hey, we'll get more headlines like RFK popping a Zyn in the middle. And again, like,
oh God,
active chemical edition. Let's make everybody healthy. Okay. I have active chemical today. I fucking coffee and stuff, but I'm not out there preaching to anybody. That's the difference, by the way. So anyway, folks, let us know what you think down in the comments below about the shit show of the confirmation hearings and RFK popping us in. All right, chat. How many FBI just quit? I don't know. They got that whole weird, like, pseudo resignation thing going on in every federal agency right now. Um, I don't know what's going to happen with all of that. They really have flooded the zone.
Oh.
Um, like Jay said, it's hard to keep up with right now.
So hard.
Well, the terms of service allow us to say how we really feel. I mean, you give it a shot. Chat might, the chat thingy might shut it down, Jervinator. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'm saying like fucking let's
You
try it.
You have to put it into the chat before chat decides whether it's gonna chat hold it. Right? It is a mess. The upside, if you guys would like to hear an upside.
Nope. I want to stay in the downside.
It really does appear like incompetence is still going to hurt them. Right? They still have a problem of we're not really sure what the fuck we're doing, and that hurts them. And where the Supreme Court really stepped in during Trump's first term was, look, you can do crazy stuff, but there's a process. You have to follow the process, right? We want you to follow the process. And the Trump administration really has an issue with following the process. Hence all the stuff that happened with OMB and Medicaid this week. That turned into a whole shit show. So, and they ended up shooting themselves in the foot like 3 times in the course of a 36-hour period. So now they can't do what they wanted to do because they've got a restraining order on it. So, all right, chat. I think we've probably got about 10 or so more minutes in us before I got to get off here and start editing these segments, and Jay's going to make some thumbnails. Again, if you haven't subscribed to us on YouTube, please go over to youtube.com/ericodeshow. That's his thumbnail. Jay is better at thumbnails than me. We determined this last week. Jay started working with thumbnails when we were doing stuff. Terms of service did not let me say what I wanted. Yep, that means the chat thingy. So, kind of weird, like, programming note. So, I'm not in the Twitch and YouTube sections of the chat. Both of those are pumped into Restreamio, into my OBS, which is where I monitor both. It's the only way I can monitor both at the same time without running my machine ragged. Consequently, I actually don't have access to the moderator tools, so I can't let chat stuff through that I might let through or that the bot stops because I monitor it through OBS and not the Twitch interface in Chrome. The only one that I'm monitoring in Chrome right now is actually TikTok because Restreamio is still very iffy about TikTok. I can push to TikTok, and we are streaming live on TikTok. And I can see their thing, but I'm actually in a separate TikTok monitor. It's the only way I can monitor TikTok chat, likes, and viewers is through another thing. One of these days I will film a video and then like play it for you guys so you can kind of see what it looks like from my side. And how many windows do I have open right now? 1, 2, 3, with 3 tabs, 4, 5, 6. That doesn't count. 7.
So, Alex, are you saying that you didn't see like Dog Dad's comment?
I
didn't
saw
come through.
I saw goddamn worthless, and then
that's it.
Yeah,
I can read it for you if you want.
No, I can see it. It just it censored the one word. I don't know if he typed it out in the chat or not.
Oh.
So,
do you want me to say what word it is? I can say it.
No, I think that might actually get us demonetized.
I need to talk to you about what's going to get us demonetized.
Cat girls. Cat girls are going to get us demonetized. Cat girls.
Maybe.
Cat girls
I don't know.
are going to get us demonetized.
But no, have we looked at like stats? Like, is it from a stat wise legit? I'm better at thumbnails than you.
I'm going to say you are.
Oh, okay.
I'm going that way. Hang on, let me take a look. Did anything get caught? I'm pulling up the other one.
I inserted the @ and £, so it would go through.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that's the only way it will go through. I pulled it up. It again. I don't like to run uh, back force with the stream itself, just because it gets super wonky on me. What are cat girls? Oh, so at the beginning of the thing, we're doing a thing where we banter for a few minutes to give people time to get into the stream, and Jay in the rundown document inserted cat girls as a thing because we were talking about furry cat girls hacking nuclear power plants during the banter section, and so Jay inserted cat girls at the end of every topic, and
Yeah.
how all the topics were there to distract us away from cat girls. That's where that came from.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's a legit issue. Why do we have so much AI, but we can't have cat girls? I don't really
I'm
know, you
I'm
know?
I'm telling you, they're coming. It's gonna
Nice.
happen, right? Adult entertainment. Actually, you can even go before the internet. One of the things that helped VHS take hold as the dominant format was pornography, because that was the primary
Actually,
format.
so this is actually really fun. I am currently in a MBA program. Because of that, I get access to all these really high-end databases that typically companies would have to pay like a ridiculous like $5,000 for this like industry report,
Yeah,
and I just get it for
I
free.
love those.
I have the recent report on the adult entertainment industry. Um,
All right,
so
I
yeah,
want
I
to
get.
do a deep dive on that next week. Can you send me that
Okay.
report?
Yeah, I can send it to you.
Send me that report. I think we should do that as a topic next week.
Let's
Right?
go.
Chat, let us
Okay,
know. Do you want us to do a deep dive business analysis of the adult entertainment industry? Because I think that would be fun as shit.
let's go.
Okay. So, chat, let us know if you want us to do that as a primary topic next week, and we will add that to the rundown early. So far, saying yes, let's talk porn. Um, yeah. So I'll get Jay to send the thing. We'll both read the report, and then
It's sent.
then we'll talk about it next week. Um, all right, chat. Oh, multiple people. Yes, yes, yes. Let's do it. All
No,
right.
okay. So for clarification, we're going to talk about porn, not show porn.
No, yeah, we're not going to do that, but yes. So YouTube chat is saying yes. Twitch chat is saying yes. Like we're on top of it, ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen. Um, Mink for porn for ladies. You know what? We should talk about that. We will discuss that, and actually, we could probably bring in some stuff about literature in how that kind of crosses over, right? And actually, we can talk about that because it also crosses into the BDSM community, right? Um, there's a lot. There's a lot there, right? There's quite a bit there. Tommy, got it. Yes, yes. Thank you, chat. I appreciate the thing. So, yeah, we'll talk about that next week. All right, chat. Last chance. A couple more minutes. If you've got anything else you want us to chat about today, some stuff we left off. I don't want to talk about the Anthony. I almost put the Anthony Mackie stuff on there. Um, for those that are looking for a decent game recommendation, the second Final Fantasy remake game just hit Steam. I downloaded it. It's fucking amazing. It's so good. So good. Oh wait, he's pulling some. What is that?
Uh,
Porn games on your Switch? Oh no, Steam Deck.
no, not a Steam Deck.
What is that?
An Asus AOG Ally X.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So okay, real quick. Alex is getting tired, but this is on sale right now for $200 cheaper than you typically get it. It is the same price as the a refurbished
Steam Deck.
Steam Deck, and it has better stats. I read some bad reviews about people saying like, oh, like It's not as good as a Steam Deck because you have to go into like every game settings and like I don't know, change your settings, map your buttons, blah blah blah. I love it. I'm legit playing Sons of the Forest in bed off Wi-Fi.
Nice.
Love it.
Um,
100%.
we did 20 minutes ish on the Blake Lively lawsuit chat earlier in the show. That'll go up on YouTube later today, tomorrow ish. As soon as again, right after we get done with the show every time, I'm editing all the videos for YouTube and scheduling out the next like 4 or 5 days worth of videos. Right after the show. So I will post that in the Discord as soon as it publishes. And as always, you can go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/errorcodeshow, and you can check out anything you may have missed from the stream. But yeah, if you have not played the new Final Fantasy VII and you liked the Final Fantasy VII series, it's so good. So good. I have been playing the snot out of it to get my brain to relax. So.
Interesting.
All right, chat. Give me one last chance. Anything else? Besides, again, we did 20 minutes on the Blake Lively lawsuit. It's so confusing.
Yeah. Check it out. It's weird.
Next week, go see Love Hurts. I'm gonna go see that next weekend. That's the new one with Ki Hui Kwan.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I already have my tickets through A-List. I also have my tickets for Captain America purchased already.
Wait, when does that come out?
2 weeks.
Wow.
It's crazy. Tracking for a $95 million open. So, we'll review Love Hurts if we get a chance. I'll try and poke Jay and get him to go to the thing. Are they on what mainline Final Fantasy are they on right now?
I'm not sure.
Oh, mainline. Let's see here. That's a dumb article. 15, 16. Hang on, I'm looking. But they had 3 of those and 3 of those. They're on. There's been. Oh, here we go. I've got the list. 23.
23. Wow.
In the main line.
That's crazy.
That's just the main line.
Just the main line, not like any sublines.
Yeah, so there's no. This one's not counting. So Tactics is not in there.
That makes sense.
So that would be 24. Yeah, there's a lot of Final Fantasy games. But 7 is the one that had one of my favorite magazine advertisements ever. Right? For video game. And 2, it was the first one on the it was the first one on PlayStation. And so here, I'll bring it up. So if you look, that advertisement was a magazine advertisement they did for Final Fantasy VII, right? When it came out for the original PlayStation, and it says, "Someone please get the guys who made cartridge games a cigarette and a blindfold." Because remember, but at PlayStation, discs were new, right? And they were like, "This is the future's discs," and they were right. But it's the "give them a cigarette and a blindfold" is one of my favorite advertisements for a video game ever, and especially in 1997, that was like, so. All right, I'm knocking shit off my desk. I think it's time to call it a night. You guys go check out that Asus ROG Ally. That does look good. How's the battery life on it?
So I think like you can run a game at like 70 or 80 frames per second for like 2.5 hours.
That's pretty good. All right.
It's like really good.
All right, folks. Thank you very much, Jay. We had fun tonight.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. We love you.
Bye.